Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another tier list. This ain't your mama's tier list. This ain't the X-Men's tier list. This is the greatest IC champion of all time tier list. I'm joined by the two greatest people on YouTube. Zach, how are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great. Thank you for bringing up our biggest tier list of all time, the X-Men tier list. Feel free to comment as you will for that.
Yes, sir.
Knock, how about you?
The final boss is here. The champion of champions is here. Glad to do another tier list with you guys. It's been too long. Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
True that. And while you're also letting us know what you think, let us know what tier list you want. It doesn't have to be wrestling. It could be anything. It could be games, music, animals. Fuck it, I don't know. Whatever you want.
If you're into food, man, food.
Your top pizza delivery spots, let us know. But we're going to be ranking the top IC champions in WWE history. Majority of this list was taken from WWE.com. Unfortunately, Zach didn't make the cut. I petitioned. Apparently, his reign doesn't count. But a few of these were added in post. We're going to talk about who and why WWE does not consider them to be the greatest. But without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to throw someone on here. Because if you notice at the bottom, there's an honorable mentions category. Unless either of you know enough about this person to know where he should rank, I'm going to put him there. And that person is going to be Pedro Morales. Third IC champion. I believe he had over 600 days with the title, but I don't know enough about his reigns to know where he should go on this. So do either of you have any info that could change that?
I'll just say I know enough about him where I would put him as a champion, but I don't know enough about him to speak on that. Again, that's before my time, and I'm the dinosaur of the group. So I just know of that, and you say 600 some days. I mean, that's a champion. But in the comments, if you know more about Pedro Morales, let us know why he should go where he should go because of your opinion.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, his name always pops up. You know, when we look at the history of stuff. I think he's definitely synonymous with the IC belt way back in the day. But I don't know too much about him, so definitely let us know in the comments below. So, yeah, wherever you put him, that's going to be on you.
Yeah. I'm going to put him in there because every list I looked up, he's probably third, second place. So you guys in the comments, let us know where you think he should be. I don't want to undersell him, and I don't want to undersell anybody else in this list.
Yeah. Finishing moves, I know this. He has the Caribbean Cannonball, Senton, and the Boston Crab. So, hey, Jericho, man, we know where you got it from. He's had some great tag team partners. I want to throw it out there, man. Rocky Johnson, Carlos Colon, like real legends, Bob Backlund, and he's a Triple Crown in WWE. So shout out to the two-time IC champ.
Yeah, this is why I can't do this alone. Knock with the info, just bringing all the facts. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Next up, let's just jumble it around. I'm gonna say this person grabbed the wrong belt. I think this man. First of all, I'm okay with indie darlings getting a chance.
Oh,
in WWE,
man.
But when AJ Styles shows up and he thinks that he belongs, that's a problem.
First of all, AJ frickin' Styles winning another belt that John Cena's yet to grab. He's the only Grand Slam champion in TNA Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, WWE. This man has been a Grand Slam champion everywhere he goes. He carried the pandemic with this IC championship tournament, defeating Daniel Bryan in a classic with no one in the crowd. I mean, phenomenal one, man. Phenomenal. Where's the category for the phenomenal champion? Champion of champions, a true champion. AJ Styles, that is him.
Oh, how about you, Zach? Where are you putting AJ's IC run?
I'm going to put it in a champion. I just think we have some bigger ones on here, but Knock made a good point. He did all this stuff during the pandemic era, and it was really cool to see, and it's also another point to show how much, I guess, I don't know if we can say his name anymore, but how the old man saw AJ Styles coming in from that indie darling to WWE and being seen as a main player. So
Exactly.
I mean, he's a champion.
Not to mention, he won the title quicker than Cena has done. And how long Cena been there?
You know what? Let's not forget. It
Too
wasn't
long.
for Cena putting this. I'm gonna say it. This chump over. If you put this little man over with the soccer mom hair, then he wouldn't even be the huge megastar he is today.
Oh man, the soccer bomb here. Come on. I want to say I say this every video. This tier list is completely our opinions. We're basing it off of how we feel about the individuals. Let us know in the comments below. You know, all comments welcome. But this is our opinion. This is our list.
True that. But with that, AJ, a champion. We'll probably do veto rules at the end. We'll see. But for right now,
Yeah, we'll definitely video on that.
Next up, let's go. I'm going for someone who I was joking about AJ. I don't hate the guy, but I am going to get some backlash here. I think this is a better IC champion than AJ, Santino Marella.
Oh man, the man who couldn't win it on his own, the man who took TNA Wrestling Bobby Lashley to win the belt.
I'm putting him as a true champion of the IC title. The Cobra.
What's his finisher?
The Cobra.
Oh my god.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. This is pro wrestling. This was Vince McMahon's best booking decision.
Oh man, this the Milan Miracle they call him. I mean, it was a moment. That was all it was. What was it? He was trying to go for was it Honky Tonk's reign?
Honky Tonks, yep.
The Honky Tonk
Yeah,
leader.
that's insane. How they let these forgot the belt was on him or something? What happened?
Every time this man was on screen, you hated him, you laughed with him. He truly was the Milan Miracle to pro wrestling.
Oh man, what's his highlight match of this reign?
Highlight match? Oh man, you kidding me? There's so many. I don't even know what to choose from. All I remember is Cobras. Cobras here, Cobras there, everywhere.
Snake Eyes.
What do you think, Zach? Where would you put?
So many G.I. Joe references. This guy grabbed the wrong belt. This was such a gimmick thing to do. This is what buried the IC title. I was happy for Santino, but I mean, holy crap. Like, nah.
Yeah, I was happy for him too. I can't lie, man. This is a cool moment when I was watching. I'm going to go hit or miss.
Hit or miss. All right. I think we'll split the difference.
You know what else? Hit or miss. It depended on the week with the material.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying that this is why the X-Men video is the way it is, but anyway, next up. Knock, who do you want to talk about next? I'll let you pick.
Let's talk about, Mr. There's only a conspiracy theory. Let's talk about Mr. Member of the Bloodline, honorary member, Sami Zayn. Where do you think his reign went, man? Because I thought he rejuvenated the belt. I thought, he was doing such great heel work. He wasn't defending it as much, depending which reign he got. He wasn't defending as much in one of those reigns when he lost the belt through, he was stripped or something like that. And he won it back in that triple threat ladder match. It was a great fucking match. So, where are you putting Sami Zayn?
He was a fun champion, and I really wanted him to be IC champion. I was waiting for that for so long.
Yeah.
I'm stuck between a champion and a true champion. How about you, Zach? Where would you put him? I need some convincing.
Oh man, I'm stuck there too because he wanted to make this belt as good as he could under the ruling of the old man. So it's a very tough spot to be in. I'm going to say he's a true champion because he gave a shit about that belt, and I did like his title run.
I was debating between hit or miss or a champion only because, like you said, it was just he wanted a lot more for the belt and he was hardly booked sometimes. So
that's true. I mean, if we're gonna hit some of these greatest hits here on that, I guess we got to maybe put him.
Yeah, let's go. I don't want to put him a hit or miss, man, but
so you would put him on the same level as Santino? I guess that's the bar we're saying for hit or miss.
No, he's better than Santino, man. I'm going A-Chip.
All right.
I'm not going to disrespect him like that.
Yeah, we shouldn't disrespect Santino like that. That's not right. Zach, which IC champion are we talking about next?
If I had some gum to spit out, I would do the bit. We're talking Kurt Hennig himself, Mr. Perfect. Back in the day, he was one of the Intercontinental guys. He was more towards the very end of when WWE really held prestige with some of these older guys with the belt, and then got into more of around when Raw got kicked in and more gimmick stuff was going on in WWE. But he was so good. He was very convincing, and most importantly, this is another reason, not just the hair, why people convince him or compare him to Dolph Ziggler. He sold the shit out of every single opponent.
Yes.
He made every match look real. Mr. Perfect, personally, I am going to put on a true champion.
All right. How about you, Knock?
I'm not going to disagree with the main man, Zach. I mean, this guy threw a towel behind his back and it landed perfectly on another guy's shoulder. I mean, this dude could do everything, man. He's literally the embodiment of Mr. Perfect. He's a walking legend. IC champ. He identifies with that belt. When I think of the belt, I think of him and his run. So a true champion for sure. He was also in TNA Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, we all make mistakes. Yeah, I agree. True champion. A case could be made for champions, but I mean,
True.
he made the IC title prestigious, and he knew professional wrestling. He knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone does, but he knew it. All right, Knock. Who are we talking about next?
I mean, if we're going to go from Mr. Perfect, let's go straight to Ziggler then. The guy with the same hair, selling. I mean, I think he should have been bigger than what he is, but he's always in the right spot at the right time. If you in a jam with booking, throw in Dolph Ziggler and he's there. When I think about him with the IC run, though, I think about his run with The Miz. They were going back and forth. I think it was 2016, 2017, going back and forth in that summer of Miz and Ziggler, where he put his career on the line, doing all this crazy stuff. And I mean, I can't fault him for booking fucking up afterwards, but he was on fire. I don't think he was a placeholder champion. He wasn't hit or miss.
Working low, going up.
I'm trying to get. Are we going into the A champion moment? There is he up there?
Well, can I tell you mine? Can I argue for what I think he should be?
Hit me
See if I
here.
can convince you. I think he should be champion of champions.
Ooh,
I mean, only one person can be there in the end, like always. But I think
That's
he
true.
should be there because you think of Dolph and Miz, which was great. That was a great feud. That was one of the few times for me a career versus championship match worked. I think of him and the late great Luke Harper.
Ooh.
That feud was magic. Dolph Ziggler always fought for that IC title like his life depended on it. People talk about Miz bringing prestige to the title, which he did. And spoiler, he's also going to be my vote for champions. But I think Ziggler just made that title feel like it was his lifeline.
That's true. Well, I'm fine putting him there. We can get back to it. How you feel, Zach?
I feel the same. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good point, Eric. And again, for someone who wants the belt, who knows like you don't need the main title to be over, that's a good point.
Yeah. He deserves more, but you know what? That's what he's got in life, and he makes it work.
Oh, hold on. Let's pump the brakes here real quick. Why is my guy, the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy, an honorable mention? Well, we have the honky talk man on here.
Wait, Jeff is on here. I haven't ranked him yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
I've seen him on honorable mention. I don't know if that was an accident on my screen.
oh, okay. Well,
Okay,
since you brought him up, let's just go straight to it. Jeff Hardy. Doc, any words to say about Jeff Hardy's IC title reigns?
I thought he was the guy, man. I thought he was gonna break the records. He got close. He has a lot of reigns. I'm gonna go. He was a champion. I loved watching him when he came back from making a huge impact, no pun intended, in TNA. He came back even better and won all the IC belts. He fought Morrison. He would fight Jericho. Man, it was great stuff. I'm going A champion.
How about you, Zach?
I'll say hit. Excuse me. I'll say hit or miss, just because he always felt like the guy they wanted to put the main belt on, but we all know what happened when he had the main belt. So it's just like the Intercontinental thing was just like a placeholder to see how he'd do with a belt. He did some good stuff, but I'm just saying, like, from the old man's eyes, it just seemed like it was a test for him to see if he could go back to the main belt.
Right. torn. Because on one hand, when I think of Jeff with the IC title, I only think of him versus Umaga. And that was a cool
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
I can't forget that.
But I don't think of anything else. I don't remember anything else from that reign that made me think Jeff was a great champion. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna say A champion, low end of A champion, because I don't think the fans were ever disappointed by Jeff as champion.
True.
His booking could have been better, and yeah, he definitely did not live up to what he was supposed to. But I think just his personality kind of carried him a lot.
Speaking of, since you mentioned him, shout out to Umaga, man. Another former great champion.
There was a
hard hitting, man. That guy sold too.
Yeah.
He could have
He could have. He's the only one who did the Samoan spike and really made me feel like he was going to destroy Spotty, man. That looked impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember which commentator started to do it, but there was a point where Michael Cole would always say, when the Usos did the corner run, he'd say, "Oh, shades of Rikishi," and everyone's like, "Nope, that's Umaga. Gotta get right."
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, Zach, who are we talking about next?
You know what? Since I am old, let's talk about the man, Honky Tonk Man. I gotta say, I gotta put him in champion of champions. He's always the topic of discussion when we talk about the IC title. What did we just talk about with Santino? You know, I mean, he was like the guy. He was the heel. And I think taking the belt off of him was a big deal. And it was just very weird to see it on someone else at the time. I loved him with the IC title. There's a couple other people on this list I loved as well. But I think this was the top guy with the IC title during my youth that I recognized with the IC title.
What else can you say? He's cool. He's cocky. He's bad. I completely agree with Zach. He was also another pick for me for champion of champions. How about you, Knock?
I'm telling you right now, man, I will not let this stand. He will not be in a champion of champions by the time this video ends. He grabbed the wrong belt. He should grab another belt to fit his pants. This belt was not for him. I mean, I don't like this guy, man. I really don't. I know it's not going to go there, but I'm going to grab the wrong belt, man, because I can't go any lower.
What, did you miss a concert or something?
Oh, man. Listen, if you want to get a musical-themed wrestler, don't look no further than the TNA founder, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, let's get to him. I barely even know Jeff. I might be grabbing the wrong picture for all I know, but Jeff Jarrett, Knock, what have you got?
All right, man. Zach, you got anything before I go off?
Yeah, let me just say P single L A C E single H older, A placeholder. That's what I'm giving Jeff Jarrett. Go ahead.
It took me a second to see what you were describing. I was like, what is this man spelling? But you can't spell a placeholder without King of the Mountain. Actually, hold on. You take the C and turn it into a K, and you get King of the Mountain, Jeff Jarrett. It's his world, Mr. TNA Impact Wrestling founder, the IC champion who put over China to go on a run of her life, the man who would sing you a song. What is it? Double J ER, whatever it's called, Double J F Eric.
Oh,
man,
God.
I don't know, man. I'm tired. It's been a long day, but Jeff Jarrett is a champion of champions, man. How much people have come through him? Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, the entire WWE makeup right now is Jeff Jarrett, IC champion. So he's a true champion in my eyes.
True champion.
And of course I can spell better than that, man. I'm just messing with you guys.
Okay, so I obviously don't know anything about Jeff Jarrett's IC title reigns. But I will say this. WWE has him as 20th out of 25 in their top 25 IC champions.
I mean, if you like the Honky Tonk, man, I think you gotta love Jarrett as well. The way he carried himself as a heel. He was a really good heel back in the day, man.
So Knox says, you say true champion?
Yeah, I'm gonna go true champion.
And then Zach's a placeholder. I'm going to say that's literally a hit or miss champion.
Hit or miss. This man didn't miss. Do you know he had an MMA challenge every week, and he would beat the top guys for like a month straight, man. This man was on fire.
With his book?
I mean, come on, man. Did you see the stroke, the finisher? You know, Bailey was using it, actually. I think, yeah, Bailey's new finisher. That's how Jarrett would do it back in the day.
So now she perfected it? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, man. She did something with it. Shout out to Bailey, man.
Let us know in the comments where you think Jeff Jarrett should go. For right now, I put him in a hit or miss. We'll see how it goes by the end of this.
This man opened the forbidden door to WWE and Ric Flair's last match.
Can we
AEW.
walk out on Jeff Jarrett like Jeff Jarrett walked out on Hollywood Hulk Hogan at the WCW pay-per-view and move on?
Let us know in the comments. Zach, who's up next?
Let's see. Who do we have here? Oh, let's go with one here. Macho Man.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
I love it, man. I was watching an interview with him earlier. He's so good. That's a true character.
It really is.
Yes.
Check out the rap. Anyway, Zach, what have you got to say about the Macho Man?
Let me just say, I'm putting him as a champion just because I grew up with him. I rewatched after seeing him with the world title, with the IC title. So for me, he was always a world champion, and just in how he carried himself in the 80s when everything was bigger than life, he was a champion to me, like the champion to me. So with the Intercontinental title, that is a champion to me, and if you want to go true champion, I'm fine with that. But
I'm gonna say I completely understand that logic. I respect it. I'm gonna say true champion based on, for one, almost every list I looked on for champions, he was number one.
okay.
Two, I think I like the fact that he was a world. I hope WWE does it more now we've got a new brain in the head. I like when a world champion goes for the IC title. Brings some prestige to it.
Yeah.
But I'll go with what you say. You say a champion, I'm willing to go there. How about you, Knock?
For the record here, for everybody in the comments, let it be known, the final boss voted for a Macho Man Randy Savage to go to a true champion. I mean, eat your veggies, do your homework. I just love everything about this guy as champion. I do agree with Zach said about, we identify him as the world champion. I see that too. That's true too, man. I'm trying not to conflict, him being world champion, IC champion. But I'm going to go true champion.
Okay. Then so here's the question for you, Knock, and I have one for you, Zach. Would you say, Knock, Randy Savage is on the same level as Mr. Perfect, IC title-wise? Or at least close enough that they're in the same category?
I think you have to put them together. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah, that works. When Macho was IC champion, he worked with it.
Okay. And we're moving up to a true champion.
True champion, man.
The commentators just hitting the delete button.
Oh, gosh.
Next up, I'm going to pick someone who's made their return, the prodigal son. And the reason why we had the classic IC title for a while, Cody Rhodes. I'm going to put him in hit or miss. I love Cody, but I think it was a booking problem. I don't think they gave him as much as he wanted to do with it.
Not at all. I damn near want to put him in a placeholder, and I hate to say that.
I'm fine with that, actually. If you want, I
might put him in placeholder, and it's nothing against Cody. Like, if he was to win IC belt now, I can't imagine the run he'd go on right now.
Right.
But at the time, the way they looked at him, the way they treated him, he couldn't do much with that. He tried his best, but I think a placeholder.
How about you, Zach?
I agree, and that's exactly how the belt was looked at. It was a placeholder belt for whatever segment that they needed to fill in the slot. Cody tried his damnedest, but he might as well have brought a blankie to the ring in WWE's eyes back in that day. So his heart was in the right place, booking was not. So I'm fine with the placeholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got to have the moment to bring the classic strap back.
Yes, that was a cool moment, and then just got deflated as the weeks went on.
He had to pay for that himself, apparently, out of pocket.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
All right. Next up, let's go ahead and let's talk about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. You guys remember his, was it 2 IC title reigns?
I think it was 2 IC title reigns for the Brahma Bull. But funny enough, I'm going to go ahead and say it. He grabbed the wrong belt.
Okay, I want to hear the reasoning for this one.
The reason for this is because, like, I hardly remember him being an IC champ, man, to be honest. He will forever be world champion, The Rock. That's where he took off. And him getting an IC run was just, I think, to pad the stats.
How about you, Zach?
You know what? Just for the sake of anyone who wants to throw comments our way, I will agree 100% with Knock. And I'll just say this, watching this live, watching his progression, watching him come out as Rocky Maivia at Survivor Series and going to the IC belt, by the time he was in an IC title match, going in at least for the second time, it was like, why is he going after this when he should be the world champ at this point? He was surpassing the Nation of Domination, who pretty much everyone in there was great on the mic and in the ring. He was just like, you knew he was bigger than big. And I do believe he beat, what, Triple H for the first belt?
I believe so.
But
Yep, Triple H.
so at that point, it was just like, okay, this guy's going to run the gamut of WWE's trajectory. So, again, use the IC title as a secondary title to test someone out with a belt and reactions to push him. So it was great that he got it the first time. Second time, in my eyes, it's just like, why isn't this guy world champ? Because he's it.
Yeah, and I believe the first time when he won it, like, that's when I'm looking at it here, he debuted 3 months, won it right after that. And that's when he was still, like, figuring himself out because he was getting booed a lot. Then he finally, after this happened, he figured out who he was and took off.
Okay. You both talked me into, because originally I was going to say hit or miss because he had 2 reigns. First one was a big miss. Second one was a hit. But I'll agree with that. Second reign, I guess he didn't really need it. Grabbed the wrong belt to this. Knock, where are we going next?
Let me take a look. And again, no disrespect to The Rock, man. I mean, we all know he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
Rock, if you're making Jumanji 9 at this point when you're watching this, call us in. We're gamers. We'll work with you. We'll be great in the movie.
Yeah.
Let's go from The Rock to the bad guy.
Yay.
Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, IC champ, man. Too sweet. Again, another phenomenal character. I forget who was just talking recently about, like, I think it might have been Triple H or someone who he learned so much from Scott Hall and, like, how to slow things down. And I see Triple H passing on to this new generation. This guy is phenomenal. I mean, look at him with the belt in that picture. First of all, I mean, damn, there's $1 million right there. So I think I have my votes for champion of champions. So I'm gonna put the bad guy in a true champion.
Zach.
I'm going to put him in Champion of Champions just because he was the last main guy in my eyes before I kind of got taken out of WWF and wrestling in general because of gimmicks and whatnot got a little wacky. He was the last major true champion and just like the ladder matches and all this other stuff. And we'll get to Sean with it, obviously. But Razor was this. Like, he was talking about dripping with gold before people today were talking about drip.
Yes.
He was just so good. He was his character, but he was so good in the ring. Not what you just mentioned. He just brought so much actual, like, wrestling to character at that time that WWF was pushing.
I'm gonna agree with Zach on this one because without everything we talked about so far, true champion. When you include talk about the ladder match, or the ladder match is champion of champions for me. So I'm willing to move him up there for now. I don't know if he's my final pick, but he's up there.
Okay.
All right. Next up, let's talk about another man who's dripping with gold. Gold dust. Nowadays, Dustin
Literally.
Rhodes. um, this might be another like Santino vote, but I am going to say a champion, maybe borderline a true champion for me personally. Because I was always interested in Goldust. I loved what he did. Fun guy, and he knew his character very well. But for now, I'm saying a champion.
I'll agree with you, Eric, just because at that point in time, there wasn't like the definitive person. Like there wasn't a honky-tonk man with the IC title at this time, but he fit having the title very well. He carried himself like a champion with the title, which is a thing that he had to do very slightly because of his gimmick. It was very androgynous, and it was meant to cause controversy for ratings for the Monday Night War. And he knew how to wrestle. He's a Rhodes. So it all worked for me at the time. I saw him as a champion, so I'll just say that. True champion. They're a champion. A champion.
What you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against him here. I mean, like you said, he's a Rhodes. This man could wrestle his ass off, and he did exactly what they needed him to do for this Attitude Era, and he shined through it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a true champion as well for Goldust.
Okay. Would you say Zach, true champion or a champion?
State champion, and let me just say the reason I don't put him higher than that is because him having the title worked for me, but that's not what I remember him from the Attitude Era, and I'm not even talking about just like his over-the-top stuff that he did for ratings. Like he really did a lot during the Attitude Era that I remember more than just his title run.
Okay. Yeah, I'll also say a champion, not yet a true champion. All right. Knock. Who have you got up next?
Well, speaking of staying in the Attitude Era, let's go straight to the only woman to win the IC belt. That is China, who, defeated Mr. TNA founder himself, the unselfishness king of the mountain. A nice feud, and China picked the victory here for the IC belt.
Where is she going?
I mean, if you're the only woman to do it, breaking boundaries, I think she's champion of champions. I can't describe the impact she's had on a lot of generations that came after her. So I'm going to go champion of champions.
Okay. I'll choose Zach.
I agree. There wasn't much for her to go for. There was the women's title, but a lot of the women at that time, it's weird to book someone like China who could just tear apart most of the women like that. You basically had Jacqueline, Jazz, and a couple other people that had like high spot moves that could like trick her in the ring. She was China. Like she beat Jared. She beat all these other men. And she carried herself like a champion, and she carried herself like an IC champion, champion of champions. Loved her title run with the IC belt.
Dig it. She's the champion of champions. All right, Zach, who's up next?
Let's take a trip. Gentlemen, let's take a trip to parts unknown because it's time for the Ultimate Warrior. Man, him with the belt. It was this cool moment where it was about time because the crowd was so behind him, but it was a nice build. We'll get to the other guy that he beat for it and all that stuff later on. Did we get to him? Who did he beat? Rick Rude or the Honky Tonk Man?
Honky Tonk.
Thank you. Okay, so it was a big deal for someone to beat the Honky Tonk Man, and it was this guy. I'm gonna say a true champion on this, just because he carried it and kept it through WrestleMania 6. It wasn't just dropped; it was meant to be a part of who he was and moving up to the next level. So it still put more prestige on there. If we're talking best matches with the IC title, I can't really say his were that. So, I mean, if you have arguments against where I put him, then I would agree just based on matches.
How about you, Mark?
I'm going complete champion, man. I mean, so not complete champion, a true champion. To walk into Mania with the belt as well, not drop it or, stuff like that. A big win, I guess, to beat the Honky Tonk Man. I mean, it was a long streak, so shout out to Ultimate Warrior. I'll give him that a true champion mark.
Yeah, I'll give him true champion too.
Like Zach said, the crowd was on fire for this guy, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And people wanted it, and when he got it, it made sense. He was a face champion that you could like you just got energized for. So I'll agree with that. True champion. Next.
Let me just put this up too with Honky Tonk, or excuse me, with Ultimate Warrior. Maybe there's a couple other ones too. They were champions that you just saw defeat or defending the title rather than like when someone's a champion. We see this mainly with the main title. It's just the chase with them. With Ultimate Warrior, it was him holding it and defending it, and that was what kind of made him a legit IC champion.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good reason. So, out of curiosity, while we have these three true champions here, we've got Mr. Perfect, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior. Where are you ranking those three in their own category? Who's first, second, and third?
Ooh.
Just so I can make this.
I go Perfect, Macho, and Warrior.
I'm completely fine with that, actually. I mean, Perfect has the matches, like the match quality.
Okay, I think that. That's exactly how we have it anyway. So I like that.
Nice.
Alrighty. Next up, let's talk about Mr. Rob Van Dam, the man who blew up Pornhub and Twitch at the same time. I'm going to be honest, I don't really remember his IC title run. Was he the one who unified it, the European Championship?
I think he was. I remember him getting that prestige, and he was another one who was going for the record of most reigns. He was close, didn't quite get it. But RVD is, as IC champion, was exciting.
Yeah, 6
I think, yeah, he was getting close. I remember he was one of those. I don't know if he left or something happened, or if he just went to main event. But I think he was a true champion, man. You can't get that close to the record and not be up there.
How about you, Zach?
I'll put him as a true champion too. That was one of the most fun IC title runs I've seen during that era. I loved him, especially if you are an ECW person and you saw him in a company that wasn't really his style. He made it his style, and he made that belt a must-see segment on Monday Night Raw.
Nice. And, yeah, so he was the one who defeated Jeff Hardy and Hardcore Champion Tommy Dreamer to unify the titles with the IC Championship. And he had ladder matches with Eddie and Christian. So, I mean, that does sound really fun. Go back and watch those. But I think that. True champion. All right, Zach, who's up next?
Let's go to another one back from the old 80s era, Ravishing Rick Rude. This goes out to all you Motor City sweat hogs. This was an IC champion. This is someone who wanted a belt, who got a belt, who flaunted the belt. Another guy just like Kurt Hennig who could sell the hell out of a match. And he made a lot of the Warrior matches maybe a little bit better than they were, but this guy was a champ, and I want to put him as a champion. Maybe not a true champion, because a lot of his stuff that I remember most of his were his feuds that were very, very well done, but a champion. He was a legit champion.
Okay. I was thinking of true champion, because I mean, when I think of him in that title, he sold himself as the man's man. Like this is what men want to be, women want him, and that title just completed the image. But you know what? Maybe that's what a champion is. Maybe that's the definition of a champion. So I'm willing to go with that. How about you, Knock?
Yeah, he's one of those. He had look. He didn't really need the belt. I mean, he made the belt better. He gave it prestige. I mean, this guy looked like $1 million. Another one. Another great character. So I mean, I'm gonna go with true champion.
Cool.
It's tough for this list to put anyone a little lower. But
Right.
yeah, like this guy's a Hall of Famer, man. He was great as IC champ.
I think I'm gonna follow my gut with him at the low end of true champion. I'm gonna change my vote just a little bit. When I think of him
that
in
works.
title, it makes sense to me. All right, Knock, who's up next? We got 5 people left.
Let's go with the man who might have had another 5-star match at the age of 51, I believe, on Dynamite a few days ago. That is Chris Jericho, Lionheart, Le Champion.
Capital
the
Stormer.
influencer. Oh man, yeah, there's a lot of names for that guy. Yeah. But I believe this is the man who has the record for most IC title wins. I think they were trying to have Miz pass it, or maybe Miz tied it nowadays.
I think he tied it. Yeah,
he might have tied it. I think Jericho at 9, but Jericho has the New Japan IC champion. So technically, if all the IC titles, this man is up there. I'm going champion of champions. He is the belt.
I also agree with champion of champions based on how many times he's won it. And I guess we can even throw some extra credit in there for the IWGP, the New Japan one. He had some good feuds. Rey Mysterio, Mask versus title. Rob Van Dam. Yeah, he's up there when you talk about IC champions. So I'm willing to put him in champion of champions for that. How about you, Zach?
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you guys. And his worldly styles of wrestling, again, one of the last groups of people who wrestled all over the world before they went to a big company like WCW. He was able to wrestle with anybody for that belt and made it look like a championship match. So
And I want to go back and look at these 9 reigns because I'm willing to bet, well, like at least 3 different personas of Jericho held this title.
Honestly, it might be true.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the man who defeated Stone Cold and Rock in the same night.
That's true. All right. Next up, we were taking a while to get to him, but let's talk about the history of the IC title. This title was forged in the fires in South America as Pat Patterson. What did he do? He won a fictional tournament to win was it the South American one? And who had the North American one? I can't remember. Let's see. On a balmy night in Rio de Janeiro, September 1979, he made history when he won a grueling tournament to unify his North American Championship with the South American Championship. Fictional tournament. So Pat Patterson, first ever IC champion. Zach, where does Mr. Patterson go for you?
Mr. Patterson goes in champion of champions, not just because he is the first one. He is honestly the first thing that comes to my mind when we talk about the Intercontinental Champion. He is the first person other Intercontinental Champions talk about, and he is someone who is very just integrated with that title and worked with people behind the scenes with that title. He saw the importance of it all throughout his working with WWE, so I got to put him in champion of champions.
How about you, Matt?
Yeah, it'll be hard to argue against that, man. I'm going to go in that spot as well. Like you said it too, he unified both the North and South American championships to be the first ever IC champion. And whatever everything with the belt, you think of the lineage's belt, you think of Pat Patterson. So yeah, champion of champions.
Which I mean, there have been inaugural champions before that don't get that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
I shudder at the idea that Finn Balor might be one of those people who might not be.
I was thinking him too.
Yeah. But yeah, Pat Patterson earned that spot. Which I agree, champion of champions.
And a champion in real life. What a great fucking guy.
Oh yeah. Honestly, WWE didn't deserve my times.
I think we're coming down to the final 3.
That we are. What a 3 they are. Who are we talking about next?
Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get straight to it. The excellence of execution, the hitman, Mr. Sharpshooter, survivor of the Hart Dungeon, Bret the Hitman Hart, man. The man who's inspired FTR. The man who's inspired Wardlow to do what they do. The man who we got to see live at AW Double or Nothing, the first one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I just love how you say the survivor of the Hard Dungeon. That's like his house.
Every time he
survived
takes
his own.
It's a battle.
Hey man, oh man, Bret Hart. I mean, what can you say, man? The look, the character, the shades, the in-ring work. When you think of when everyone thinks of IC champion, you think of you have the world title, but this is the work man's title. This is the man who puts in the best matches. The man who steals the show, who, if you need to wrestle 2 nights in a row, twice in one night, That's the man you call the best technical wrestler in the world. When I look at other companies, look at Ring of Honor Pure Title, I think it takes inspiration from the IC belt. I think it takes inspiration from Bret Hart. You think about him wrestling in the O2 arena in the UK. I think about him wrestling his brother. This man is champion of champions. I know it's a bit long-winded, but I mean, it's Bret fucking Hart.
I'm gonna agree with you right there. Champion of champions. You mentioned the British Bulldog match in the UK. Again, fucking love that match. He literally carried British Bulldog, who was high off his mind, through one of the greatest IC title matches. That's incredible. I can't remember who the guy was. That Bret just took this rookie, gave him such a great match that Vince basically signed the rookie, and the rest of his matches sucked because they weren't with Bret. But
I think I know who you're talking about. I forget though.
I can't remember his name. Let us know in the comments. But
John Cena?
Hart. And then, Bret defeating Mr. Perfect for the IC title. I mean, that on paper is a beautiful match. So I agree. Champions. How about you, Zach?
I was going to say a true champion, but then you brought up his match with Mr. Perfect. I'll agree with you guys. The only reason I was going to say a true champion is because I grew up with him doing such great tag work with the Anvil, Jim Neidhart, and when he, it was tag wrestling, like FTR does. It's playing off each other's strengths and weaknesses, even more so with the Hart Foundation because of size and technical skills.
Right.
When he was the IC champ, it was also this weird time when you knew main guys were going to be out the door soon. Their welcome was getting worn out, and you kind of knew that Bret and Shawn were going to be the guys to take over. So you're just kind of waiting. It's almost like that Rock situation. You're waiting for Bret to just get to that next level. But it was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I will say champion of champions though, because he made that belt just like you said, the workhorse championship.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say about Bret, Mr. Perfect, it doesn't get that prestige of being the workhorse championship. All right, next up, I'm gonna say, let's talk about Mr. HBK, because he's just a sexy Shawn. He'll turn your woman on, and I'm putting him in champion of champions.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to argue these last two picks not being a champion of champions. But the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper. The ladder match top with Razor Ramon. I mean, the Heartbreak Kid, man, look at him. Again, another great character. Another man with great wrestling ability. All-time great IC champ, man. So, champion of champions, without question.
How about you, Zach?
I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go opposite with the Bret Hart situation. So a true champion, I'm going to put him in because at the time it was just waiting for all these bigger names to just move on and go to WCW where they were going. Shawn had such a personality for the late 80s and early 90s that it was just inevitable for him to become world champion. So he was putting on some of the best IC title matches, but it was just I more so associate the IC title with Razor Ramon from this era. So that's just my take, and it was, again, waiting for Shawn to get to that world title spot. But it was a lengthy amount of time with him with that IC title and that that whole division. So I'll just take heat in the comments for not putting him in champions, just to be a little different.
I mean, I am going to vote him out at the end of this, but...
You going to throw him through a barbershop window?
I will say the one thing I love about Shawn and his entire career, I said this about Rick Rude, that the title just made sense on him because it completed his look. I thought Shawn was the first wrestler I've ever seen where every title he held, didn't matter what level, didn't matter what it is, if he held a title, it made sense. I was like, this guy was made for championship titles. So that's whenever I see with the IC title, I'm like, wow, this must have been created in the past. A prophecy must have been made for Shawn Michaels to hold this title. And last but not least, the only two-time Grand Slam winner in WWE. He is The Miz. Zach, what do you think?
I'm gonna say a true champion again. I feel like The Miz had great runs with the belt, and I feel a lot of the prestige brought back with it was mainly based on if you knew the lineage of the IC championship. But again, he did like such great stuff again with Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, on Talking Smack, and just like he gave a shit about the belt, and he knew that like it. I don't want to say people know that they're not going to be main eventers because that's bullshit because he did main event at WrestleMania. But like when you know like what people are saying about you and like you take a title like the IC title and just like give a shit like he did, it's tough for me to not put him all the way at the top. But we just have so many other people up there. I'm just going to put him there.
I got to say about the Miz, man. I seen him from the beginning when he first debuted on SmackDown, and they were talking so much shit about him. He's still getting a bit of a push, but like you could tell he was supposed to be where he ended up. He's supposed to be like that. Barely mid card would be his height. This is a man who demolished John Cena at WrestleMania as WWE champion, walked in and walked out, put him to sleep, had John Cena look at the lights, look at the stars, taking that 3-second nap. And to think after doing that, I don't associate the WWE title with him. When I think of The Miz, I associate the IC title. His best run as champion was with the Intercontinental Championship. He tried his. I can't imagine someone tried their best the way he did to make this relevant. He busted his ass, and booking was against him. There was a time where he's IC champ.
Yeah.
He lost to Roman in like a quick match just to win it back later on. Just lose again to someone else. I forget who it was. I think it was to Ambrose. And like he would damn near be a placeholder champion at some points. And no one else would care about the belt. They would just put the belt on someone else just to give him a win. And when he get the belt, you cared, you watched. It was must-see TV. He's not going to be my final pick for champion and champion, so I'm not going to put him there. For now, I'm putting him in true champion. But this is the current day best IC champion there's been. And that's wild not being the best wrestler. No offense. In ring, he's not the best. He's better than people think. He's better than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
compared to like, Brett, Shawn, people like that.
So I'm only putting him in champion of champions for two reasons. One, if we don't, we're gonna get so many comments about it. I'm not down to get notifications every 5 minutes because you marks want to hit us up with, oh, the Miz should have been up here. Did you guys not realize that he was carrying the show for this long? I ain't dealing with that shit.
So you don't want to do an X-Force tier list with me?
Oh, you know what? You set it up and we'll talk. Second reason I'm going to put him is, I mean, it does feel weird because The Miz did do a lot for the IC title. It feels weird not to give him his flowers in that regard. But personally, I think he's a true champion because of those back and forth reigns you mentioned. Because that was when Chris Jericho left, and that was when they tried to break the record. And it was I hated the IC title for that period of time, and it's not his fault. It's just a shame that he was associated with that time. So I'll put him in true champion, but he's not getting my final vote. I mean, in champions.
Okay.
There is one person I kept telling myself to put on this list. So I guess this is one for the comments to decide where this person goes, and we can give a quick vote. Owen Hart. Where would you put Owen Hart on this list?
Same for Brett. Champions. I mean, this guy, and I think Zach said about Jericho earlier, been around the world, could wrestle any style he wants. When you think of the IC champion, you think of the workhorse, and that's what he did.
How about you, Zach? You agree?
I do agree. Champions, whatever belt Owen held, it was like him holding a lifesaver in the middle of the ocean. Like he just cared so much about the prestige of the belt. It wasn't even like it could propel him to the next level. He gave a shit about what he had at the moment. So that's a champion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is everybody in our list. We're going to do this real quick. Anybody want to move one person to any other category? I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think I'm good. I would put AJ a little higher. I do want to give a quick shout out to Kofi Kingston, former IC champion. I do want to say he did great things with that.
I wanted to put Big E on here just because I love the guy, but I should have put Kofi. That's a good call. Yeah, I'd move Santino to champion of champions, but I won't use my power here.
I dropped the honky tonk, man, but hey.
Man. All right, let's get to the end of this video. Now we're going to decide who is the champion of champions. Everybody gets one vote. I'm kind of torn because I want to say either Dolph or the Honky Tonk Man, so I'm going to hold my vote and let you vote first.
Listen, I'm voting the Hitman. Hitman execution, excellence of execution. This is who I think about when I think about the IC belt. It's Bret Hart for me.
How about you, Zach?
I gotta say it's Pat. Every time there's ever a package or someone does a promo about the Intercontinental title, they mention Pat Patterson. That says something. That says, the matches, the inaugural champion, the person behind the title, is just there's too much about Pat Patterson that goes with the title that, in my mind, doesn't he's just got to be it. He's got to be the champ.
So usually in this case, I would compromise. I would pick one of those two. But you know what? I think it's the first time we're gonna have a three-way tie. And you in the comments, you tell us who's the true champion of champions.
You read my mind.
Because Zach is voting for Pat, Knock is voting for Brett, and I'm picking Dolph Ziggler. When I think of the emotion,
You're really gonna plant your flag in that hill, man? Are you sure?
I'm giving it to Dolphy Z. When I think of the most emotional IC championship fights, when I think of someone who would die for this title,
the guy who used to be in the cheerleading squad. That
damn straight the best. Oh boy, I saw them doing the splits. I said, you know what, this kid right here, future champion. Let's see. Sean is unfortunately out. That would have been a good three-way, but I'm going for Dolph. I think that was, I don't want to say that was his ceiling, but he knew at the time that was the best he could do, and he worked the hell out of it.
Ain't this the same guy who won the U.S. belt and relinquished it the next week saying, I don't want this shit?
Yeah, exactly, because it wasn't the IC title, exactly.
Oh, man.
With that is our quote-unquote agreement on who is the best IC champion of all time. Let us know in the comments, who do you think it is? Is there anyone that we forgot?
If you're a real wrestling fan, you know to vote for it.
If Bret Hart ever sees this, I voted for you. If Dolphy ever sees this, you know I voted for you. Pat,
and anyone who is in the S class, if you got any votes for them, for sure throw them that way, and we can tally those up as well. Like if you got any votes for China, if you got any votes for Michaels, AJ Styles, anybody else.
Any final words, Zach?
I am just looking forward to more prestige being brought back to this title. Again, when I watched it, it meant something who had this title, and it didn't need to flip-flop all the time. So, and this is a time when there was just 2 wrestling shows on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, and there wasn't weekly stuff. So I'm very excited for what is next for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, I hope Gunther joins the list.
He's going to join it, all right.
Put that on a shirt. Send Eric his royalties.
With that, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon. Got more videos coming out, hopefully. This is coming out on Saturday, which means if you're watching this, you should have watched Rampage with Zach. If you didn't, you're a mark and get off of the internet. But join us tomorrow for the West Coast POPCast episode, insert number here. With that, y'all have yourselves a great night.
We've gotten to that many episodes, eh?
Have yourselves a great day, great night. Thank you for watching. We love you. Peace out.
Peace.